Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:07 on the second day of October, Thursday in your nation's capital. At 7:05, Katie Gorka, chairwoman of the Fairfax Republican Party, will join us. 7:35 brings us Byron York of the Examiner, and then at 8:05, Alex Pfeiffer. My name's Larry O'Connor, and her name is Carrie Lukas, the Grand Poobah of Independent Women. Good to see you, Carrie. Thank you. Thanks
for having me.
Is it Poobah? Is that the correct
I think
term?
that is my official title.
Get a fez, I think. Here we are in the middle of a government shutdown, and really now it's a war of words and talking points and communications. Here's the goal. Republicans and the Trump administration are trying to get about 7 or 8 Democrats to feel enough pain and face reality and come across the aisle and vote to keep the government funded. That's the goal. Find 6 or 7 of them. They've already got 3, I think. 2 or 3. They need to get a couple more. I think Rand Paul is the one Republican who's voting because he hates continuing resolutions in general and on principle, and he's Rand Paul. But other than that, I think that they need 6 or 7 or so. And every day the Senate's just going to do these test votes to try to get it going. And by the way, they might end up with some sort of temporary compromise. Who knows? For 1 month. Okay, you get a little bit of this. I don't know. I hope Republicans don't do that. But that's where we are right now. And so now it becomes a war of words and communications and what talking point is going to resonate. Democrats think that the talking point that resonates is health insurance is too expensive and we want to make it better by taking tax dollars and throwing it at the problem, which doesn't actually fix it.
Absolutely.
Republicans' talking point clearly is health care is broken, yes, and we're more than willing to talk about that, but not in these conditions. And most of the money that they're trying to take will actually end up going to illegal immigrants because, well, they've been bragging about wanting to do that. J.D. Vance has become the point person now for the administration. He started his day yesterday on Fox and Friends, and, well, he made a compelling case, I think.
This is a Democrat talking point. They say we're not actually trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens, and here's why it's not true. There are 2 Biden-era programs that explicitly gave the taxpayer health care money to illegal aliens that we turned off when President Trump took over in January. Program number 1 is there's a lot of emergency health care at hospitals that are provided to illegal aliens. That was funded by the federal government. We turned off that funding because, of course, we want American citizens to benefit from those hospital services, not to be taxed and then to have those hospital services go to illegal aliens. The second of which is the Biden administration gave mass parole to millions upon millions of illegal aliens, and then they simultaneously made those parolees eligible for health care benefits funded by taxpayers. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, President Trump and congressional Republicans turned off that money to health care funding for illegal aliens. The Democrats want to turn it back on. And in their initial proposal, the first thing that they put out to reopen the government, they actually turned that money for health care benefits for illegal aliens back on. So it's not something that we made up. It's not a talking point. It is in the text of the bill that they initially gave to us to reopen the government. It's preposterous for them to run away from it now. But look, let's set that all to the side. Let's open up the government. Let's negotiate on all of these health care policy issues. Obviously, we're not going to support health care benefits for illegal aliens, but we will work with them to lower health care costs for American citizens if they're willing to do so.
All right. Now, that's pretty clear and well said, well articulated, and lays out the facts. And it's all unimpeachable. It is. So on that last point, the parole status that the Biden administration granted and that the Trump administration has reversed, the domino effect of that move that sort of went unnoticed. We talked about it quite a bit just in terms of, okay, these people entered the country illegally, and now you're just going to, with a wave of your hand, give them legal status. That's outrageous and unfair. But then what that cost our government to have to provide so many benefits, when you start to read into it, it's absolutely obscene.
Absolutely.
What was done.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just, healthcare is a huge chunk of that. we also know education. You think about what had happened to our public schools with being overcrowded, having kids pushed out into into trailers outside.
Yep.
It's really, and then the housing costs. So this absolutely does have a huge trickle-down effect.
There are still benefits that illegal immigrants do not have access to, nor should they have access to in this country. Democrats would love to give them everything. But as of now, there's a whole lot of stuff that they don't get. When Biden said, they're not illegal anymore, it was an absolute avalanche of federal funding that went to them. And the Trump administration, instead of cutting those benefits, instead they said, well, you're not legal anymore. And they have every right to do that. It was a temporary move by Biden. And if it's temporary, Trump can undo it. And the courts have supported Trump being able to do that. Democrats, embedded in the language of this agreement to keep the government funded, would have reversed that and given that temporary legal status back, and that avalanche of benefits would have gone in. There's another end of this, too, by the way. Illegal immigrants aren't stupid. They're from other countries, and they've been told, if you come to America, they're not going to enforce the border. They're not going to enforce the visas, the student visas or work visas or tourist visas. You can stay as long as you want, and while you're there, you're going to get all of these things. And they see that and they say, well, count me in. I'll be there. As soon as Trump became president and they shut all of that down, look what happened. They stopped coming because there's no reason to come here if you're not going to be able to get all those benefits.
Exactly. And it is important to remember this doesn't, the pain caused by this, the problems with our healthcare system and our education system that come when we let in millions of people to jam into these public accommodations, you can try to throw money at the problem, but the supply that's available, whether it's seats in a classroom or in our hospitals, they are finite. It is something that it pushes out those, and especially the children of poor Americans that suffer the most.
I agree. And I think J.D. Vance's appearance there on Fox and Friends, that you just heard a good chunk of it, a minute and a half of it, really sort of set the stage for how the conversation went yesterday. Then later in the day, early in the afternoon, J.D. Vance sort of took the podium after Caroline Leavitt welcomed the press corps into the briefing room. He took the podium and was more than willing to take questions from the hostile media. Again, you're not seeing Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer will go and sit with Joe and Mika.
Yeah, exactly.
Hakeem Jeffries goes and sits with Jake Tapper. J.D. Vance stands in front of the White House press corps and said, give me what you got. Take your shot.
So good.
And it started this way.
Now, Caroline, I don't know how you do this, how you actually choose people, because I don't know 90% of the names in here. Is it just who's the best dressed? Okay, I really like your shirt. Go ahead.
I like your shirt. Go ahead. I'm not sure who it was that had a nice shirt that got the first question, but that's how J.D. Vance started the questioning. Now, we can play for you quite a bit from the press briefing. It was good, but frankly, what you just heard from Fox and Friends summarizes it the best. So that's where we went with at the beginning. Now, Carrie Lukas, there was one point in the press briefing that became sort of the touchstone of the day.
Yep.
It became sort of the pivot point. It became the grand narrative. And we're now referring to it as, well, I don't know, should we call it meme gate or or sombrero gate?
Sombrero gate, I think.
Maybe sombrero gate. Yeah. But the question of Trump's sombrero meme of Hakeem Jeffries became the big takeaway of the press briefing. We're going to get to the bottom of it coming up in a moment.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Your next $1,000 could be one text away. It's $5K a day on WMAL.
As I predicted yesterday, Director of OMB Russ Vought has actually begun the draconian cuts because of the shutdown. You see, when the legislative branch decides to stop legislating and stop appropriating, it swings the power in this town like 95% over to the executive branch. They can do whatever they want. And since there is no functioning funded government, Russ Vought, OMB director, becomes incredibly powerful. And he started cutting programs yesterday and has threatened layoffs, not furloughs, layoffs.
Yep.
And then he can rehire people. He doesn't have to hire the people who have been employed in the federal government. He can fill all those slots with people who are friendly to Donald Trump rather than right now people who are friendly to Barack Obama. This could be a devastating impact on the Schumer shutdown here in this gambit. That
absolutely. This is one where the Democrats didn't know that just didn't anticipate how much they were playing with fire.
They should have anticipated because they've been screaming all year about how Trump and Elon Musk and Russ Vought want to cut the government. So, I mean, what are they thinking? They just opened the door for them to do it.
Exactly. If you cut off funding, you have to start prioritizing where the money goes from the executive branch.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. This is now the executive branch gets to decide what's funded and what's not.
And yesterday, it turns out $18 billion went bye-bye, and it happened to be Green New Deal programs in New York. Wait a second. Aren't Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer both from New York? Well, I'm sure that was just a coincidence.
Exactly.
So more details on how that looks. But I predicted this yesterday. I told you that would be a real benefit of this whole thing. And the Trump administration is more than willing to do more. Russ Vought is now saying in the next couple of days, look for firings. All right. So that brings us to Sombrero Gate. I like Sombrero Gate.
Yeah.
Let's call it Sombrero Gate. Just as an explanation here, President Trump on Twitter and on Truth Social, X, sorry, on the first day of the shutdown, he put out an AI-enhanced meme, which, by the way, it was obviously AI-enhanced because Hakeem Jeffries was depicted with a giant black curly Mexican mustache and a sombrero. But I kid you not, ABC News actually had to put a warning banner on this when they showed it and said AI-enhanced.
In case you didn't know.
Right, because their viewers could very well be that stupid. Wow, that's quite a hat. I don't remember Hakeem Jeffries having a mustache. And then it dubbed in Chuck Schumer saying things that, well, frankly, we can't play on the radio because it had a lot of profanity in it. But it was a mocking, joking meme about Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries taking us into a government shutdown. Hakeem Jeffries did not like that at all, and he responded with fiery, fiery words.
The next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
Wow, he seems to be taking the meme pretty seriously.
And the thing that's kind of ridiculous in all this is we absolutely know that whenever he is next in the Oval Office talking to President Trump will be laughing and would make this same joke. I mean, obviously, what is it that he thinks that he needs to say to his face yeah.
President Trump will literally turn to Caroline Leavitt and say, Caroline, bring in the mariachis. And there will be a mariachi band walking into the Oval Office.
And he should laugh.
Right.
Yeah, the reaction is a laugh.
So Trump took that, saw Hakeem, and then that suddenly Hakeem Jeffries is doing all these cable news media hits about the meme.
Of course.
Not about funding the government, not about health care, not about illegal immigration, about the meme. So then Trump the next day had a new meme. Here, we can play this one for you.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican
So what you
assault.
don't see is what popping up behind him was AI-generated mariachi band, but each of the musicians was Donald Trump playing the guitar and blowing the trumpet.
So funny.
It's beautiful. All right. So why did we have to give the background on Sombrero Gate? Because during J.D. Vance's press conference at the briefing, one of the very serious White House correspondents asked J.D. Vance about the sombrero memes. It was a big deal.
No, I got a second question.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw.
Recently, you've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny.
Is it? You said you're negotiating in good faith, but is it helpful to be doing this? At that, I just honestly,
school marm.
J.D. Vance should have looked at him and just said,
fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an
you should have
unprecedented...
just started singing La Cucaracha or Living La Vida Loca. All right, J.D. did actually take the question seriously, sort of.
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I talked to the President of the United States about that. Now,
I love that he said a solemn promise.
Exactly.
All right. Leader Jeffries, I will make you this solemn promise. Negotiate with us and the sombrero memes will stop.
You know, what really obviously is driving the left crazy is that this is actually really effective. It has reminded people that what is at stake here is part of this money that's going to be wasted on illegal immigration, supporting illegal immigrants in this country.
Yes.
It has really made an impact. And that's why they hate it. They can't just laugh, as you really should laugh. It's really funny.
Just one more time. I'm sorry. I just have to.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
And then finish it up with
Hakeem Jeffries, right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop.
Carrie Lukas, I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to wake up from whatever dream we're all having right now.
Exactly.
It's
too much fun.
6:23. All right, get it straight, everybody. The federal government is not providing health care for illegal aliens. The states are doing it, and the federal government's paying for it. All right, you got it straight? Good. Coming up, the very curious case of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and what she is doing to keep the government shut down. Next.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
6:37 here. Good morning. It's O'Connor and Company on WMAL, waking up the nation's capital and getting you started the right way. It's 7:05. Katie Gorka, chairwoman of the Republican Party of Fairfax, give us a look-see on early voting turnout in the upcoming Virginia election. I guess it's happening now, isn't
Exactly.
it? It's weird. Early voting is always weird, but
Election season.
coming up at 7:35, Byron York of The Examiner, and 8:05, Alex Pfeiffer. That's Carrie Lukas, of all people, here this morning from Independent Women. I'm Larry O'Connor. So AOC, who is, I guess, running for president, I think.
We'll see.
It appears.
Yeah.
And certainly one of the top fundraisers and one of the top media personalities and one of the top, well, really spiritual voices for the heart and soul of the Democrat Party these days. She's been really increasing her public profile and her media presence, and she's been the tip of the spear on a lot of the media appearances for the shutdown itself. And she's been saying some weird things. Like, let's start here. And now understand, as influential as AOC is, she is not a part of leadership.
Yep.
She's basically one of 435.
Yep, exactly.
She's just a congresswoman. She's, I don't think, on the budget committee. I don't think she's on the appropriations committee. And she's not part of leadership. And yet, during one of her, and one other thing, all of the action right now on the government shutdown is in the Senate.
Exactly.
The House is done.
The
House is done. The House voted. It's sitting in the
passed.
Senate. And the problem is you can't get 60 senators, right? So really AOC, if she's not, the minority leader like Hakeem Jeffries, she has nothing to say about any of this. But she did have something to say.
And I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance.
Kids are dying. But what do you mean negotiate with her? What?
Yeah.
What role does she have in any of this?
She's got a big ego and a big following, I guess. So she doesn't have that going for her.
Well, yes and no. I mean, when Republicans say that AOC is driving a lot of this, what they mean is Chuck Schumer's in big trouble.
Yep.
The base hates him right now. He's a dead man walking when it comes to leadership. If they voted on leadership right now, he would not get the vote probably. And he's up for re-election. And there's a lot of people suggesting that AOC is either contemplating running for president in 2028 or running for Chuck Schumer's Senate seat in the primary. And if she announces that, Chuck Schumer won't even try. He'll just retire.
Yeah.
There's no way he will engage in a fight against AOC and be humiliated by losing a primary. And by the way, that's how AOC got where she is. She ran against a longtime member of the leadership, but he was very old, Democrat from Queens, and she was the upstart radical left-wing socialist. So many people think Chuck Schumer is engaging in this hopeless fight just to sort of satisfy the AOC types in his base in New York.
Exactly. And, it is interesting that AOC, in that clip, she's not very well spoken. She's, she obviously she's not like a deep policy knowledge, but don't discount her because she's a really, when you look at where Chuck Schumer and the entire leadership of the Democratic Party right now really can't articulate why they're doing this fight other than just like, we are going to stand up against Donald Trump. But AOC does have that kind of appeal where in a place like New York, what we've seen in the mayoral race is that she would be a formidable candidate. She could very well do it and have that platform.
Well, and of course, it's smart politics for Republicans to sort of point at AOC's direction and Zohran Mamdani's direction to let the rest of normal America know that these are the people who are driving this party right now. And as forgive me for bringing every topic that we have this morning and for the next 4 weeks back to Abigail Spanberger. But as she continues to pretend she's a moderate and the media goes along with this saying, yes, Abigail Spanberger's a moderate, can someone please tell me how Abigail Spanberger differs on the record from AOC?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Larry, that
she's voted for her the entire way.
Exactly. And one of the things that's really frustrating when it comes to the political conversation is Republican candidates are always asked, what do you think of this, what this person said? The most extreme member of your party said this. What do you think?
Do you agree or do you disavow?
Exactly. Do you disavow? Exactly. Yes. That's the perfect word for it. Well, does Spanberger agree with AOC and Mamdani in the New York mayoral race? If so, how? Is she ever going to be asked something like that?
That's right. Tell us how you're different than Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We'll give you all day.
Exactly.
She can't do it. All right, so here's J.D. Vance yesterday sort of bringing home this messaging that I think, again, is working for Republicans.
But let's be honest. If this thing drags on for another few days or, God forbid, another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to save money in some places so that essential services don't get turned off in other places. That is the reality of the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have foisted upon the administration.
And then the next time he referred to Chuck Schumer, he added a bit of a modifier.
To the American people who are watching, the reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition.
And so then what, of course, AOC's main message there?
And I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me.
J.D. Vance should totally take her up on that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he should just walk to Capitol Hill, knock on her door and say, I'm here, AOC. Let's
what can
negotiate.
You do for me?
Absolutely. Steer into it and let the image be that it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who is really running things. I think that would be hilarious, and I wouldn't put it past J.D. Coming up, someone's got a new podcast.
Oh, boy.
And her last name is Clinton. We can't wait. We'll tell you all about it in a moment. It's 6:43.
Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, we're taking bets on when the Schumer shutdown might end and whether he'll shed his lizard-like skin. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Carrie Lukas, we love cringy podcasts that get huge funding, great investment, lots of promotion, and run about 3 episodes.
Yep.
It's our favorite thing. Michelle Obama's with her sexually ambiguous brother has been fantastic.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed that one because it's basically been a therapy session for her to complain about her husband.
Yep. And for us all then to laugh afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then, of course, Meghan Markle. I mean, her podcasts are absolutely gold. Now, imagine how excited I am with this one. A brand new podcast announced yesterday. It's called That Can't Be True, starring Chelsea Clinton.
All right.
And by the way, who better than a Clinton to talk about things that are unbelievable and probably lies? Because, I mean,
Here we go. Yeah.
They're the Clintons.
Yeah, exactly.
She announced it yesterday saying, how many of us have looked at the latest headline and thought, that can't be true? Starting tomorrow, I hope you'll join me in a series of experts on my podcast, That Can't Be True. Together, we'll sort fact from fiction, especially on issues impacting our health. And stop. All right, enough. Chelsea Clinton podcast. I'm here for it. We can't wait.
It's going to be so funny. It's going to be really enjoyable.
And it proves the old adage that I've been saying forever is that everybody has a podcast. Which, the great movie The Incredibles, where the supervillain, Syndrome, if you remember.
I do remember.
He was disgruntled because Mr. Incredible wouldn't take him on as a sidekick because he didn't have any superpowers. So he ended up creating all these gadgets that he would then sell to the public so that everybody could be a superhero. And as he said, because then if everybody's super, then no one is.
There you go.
Same thing with podcasts. Once everybody's a podcaster, then nobody's a podcaster. And then people will turn back to radio.
There we go.
Thank you.
Exactly.
By the way, now's a good time for you to subscribe to our podcast. Wherever you like your podcast, it's O'Connor and Company. You can catch it and subscribe. Sorry, I just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah. The good thing is, though, there is a market mechanism for this. And we'll see how quickly this will be weeded out, Larry, because... Yeah, because you dump a lot of money in it, but that does not always translate into actual listening.
That's right.
Audience,
the most popular podcast right now, setting aside the New York Times and NPR podcasts, which are very popular, I will concede. But other than that, the most popular ones are Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, Daily Wire, our buddy Vince.
Yeah.
Those podcasts started with nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They all started with
organic.
Just a personality. Well, Vince has started with Dan, but again, it all began with a personality, with an opinion, and the ability to communicate, plug in a microphone, and just throw it out there and see what happens. These other, Chelsea Clinton is going to start with a bankroll of $500,000 for this thing. And she's still Chelsea Clinton at the end of the day. Speaking of the Clintons, if you miss Bill and Hillary and Terry McAuliffe, and you pine for the good old days of the Clinton years, I've got good news for you. This Monday, the 13th, you can go hang out with them at a special reception for Abigail Spanberger. That's right. Abigail's reaching into the Wayback Machine and trying to bring back the good old days of Bill Hill and Terry McAuliffe. Yeah. I think this is... If you're confident and winning and you've got plenty of money, I don't think you're doing that if you're Abigail Spanberger.
Yeah, especially when it does, the Clintons are now a complicated figure in the Democratic Party. Does the base really want to see the return of, welfare reform bill and budget balancing bill? I don't know.
And the crime bill and all of those things. Yeah, I think the party has turned the page on that. And, by the way, will Abigail be talking to Bill at this event about his really great memories with Jeffrey Epstein?
There you go.
That's worth asking, too. By the way, just so you remember, the last time we heard from Hillary Clinton, it was right after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And Abigail Spanberger, who hasn't really had anything to say about Charlie Kirk, Abigail Spanberger is now bringing Hillary Clinton in for a big high-profile event just weeks before Election Day. And this is who Hillary Clinton is, lest you forget.
The idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, it's just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for.
A vote for Abigail Spanberger is a vote for that.
Yeah.
And by the way, Abigail Spanberger is running not against a white man of a certain political view and a certain religion. She's running against a black woman.
Hillary Clinton is just an absolute repellent when it comes to political support. How many more groups does she want to insult?
Yeah. I know, and everybody knows that. Honestly, even Kamala Harris didn't bring in Hillary Clinton at the end in 2024. The fact that Abigail Spanberger is doing this tells me that there's some desperation over there.
Yeah.
It's 6:54.